So this is your house, and obviously you're rubbish at decorating. So you're going on tour just to get away from it.
I've got wires hanging out and stuff, and well, we whitewashed this because there was blood. So I developed this show in French first. I went to Paris, La Nouvelle Scène. If you Google La Nouvelle Scène, it's a floating theatre. Did you go there? No, you didn't come.
No, you told me about
Did I tell you about it? But you weren't there. But you should go there anyway. If you go, you can see the pictures of it, and there's a restaurant upstairs, and the Notre Dame is there, which is a cathedral built.
Do they sponsor this tour?
No, but I just think they're very groovy people. You know?
What they want to know is, what's the new tour going to be like?
Well, it's called Wunderbar, and it's been developed in French, German, and English, and it's for the last 100,000 years of humanity, but a very personal version. And also, my dad died this year, and Mum died 50 years ago this year. So I'm trying to bring them into it. So I've been told that I've got away from personal quite a lot. So I need to bring it back to personal. And I'm going to talk about running and swimming. Okay, here's my trick, and maybe you've done this. I try to entertain myself. So whenever I'm going on stage, I'm going to try and do stuff, maybe the stuff I've done before, which could make the public laugh. But also I'll try and go, oh, what about this? And I'll come up with something else. So I'll keep it always fluid, like this conversational stand-up, so I can make myself laugh. Go, oh yeah, that's a nice idea. Like when I get into talking to Americans about redoubling the efforts.
Quadrupling.
Yes, because they say we must redouble our efforts, which means we must double our efforts. And then all the Americans laugh. The rest of the world, we don't have that saying. But also I try and set up these two-way conversations. Like I've got Gandalf and this butterfly talking, or this little monkey and a bigger monkey talking. And the little monkey, he hasn't, because of the FOXP2, I talk about the FOXP2 genetic, which gives us the capacity to talk.
Yeah, and they know what that
certain
is.
Monkeys, well, not every time. It's called Forkhead Box P2.
Yeah.
And, or FOXP2 auf Deutsch in German, or FOXP2. But it's there, and it's a code, because we have a genetic genome. The genome is the genetic code of a garden gnome. And that's a joke. And
is that in the routine?
Everyone laughs at that one, except for you.
And you've got a theme for the new one?
Yeah, well, it's the last 100,000 years. That's what I thought. Yeah, well, because we crawled out of, we came down from the trees 2 million years ago, as you probably know.
Yeah, I remember
set your watch.
The exact time.
We came out, first guy called Jeff, and he said, I'm out the trees, stuff the trees, keep hanging about the trees. You've left your bananas here. Yeah, fuck that. And he went off. And he said, I'm going down to the chip shop. And that was 2 million years ago. And but 100,000 years ago, sometime I'm interested when we developed the chit-chat bit. Because there was a bit where we were just going, ooh, ooh, ooh. And then there's a bit where we started going, now, Simon, I really think we should improve your cave, you know.
And what do you think they expect from you?
I think people expect intelligence and silliness, which is the Python code of honor, it's the Python code. I had said to Monty Python, thank you for my career, because it is, I think all the chit-chat between the characters is very Monty Python-esque. Yeah. What I've developed, like all stand-ups develop, is this narrator. I have had to develop myself as a narrator. You know, whenever you're talking to the audience, this bit of that and that bit of this, and saying that, and then I can go into these characters who talk to each other.
Do you think they fear that you might be a bit too political, or you might start talking about?
No, well, I'm never going to be political in the shows. I will be social political, historical political, sexual politics, talk about that, but it's never like, no, Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that. I might talk obliquely about it, and in a Brex hate, Trump hate world, and that I'm fighting for. Yeah, and I think this is a key century for us, 21st century. This is where we make it all work, or forget it, kids. It's basically if a mainstream audience will laugh at mainstream stuff, and an alternative audience, which is what I'm looking for all around the world, who are out there in there. It's probably about 1 billion people. So I don't want the other 6 billion.
Okay, and the question they want to know is how much of the show is written. Sorry, how much have you worked on?
Well, it's all been worked on. It's all workshopped and verbally sculpted. No, but none of it's.
No, I don't mean that. Yeah. I mean, you're going to be taking the show. Your shows are what, an hour and a half, 2 hours?
It's an hour and a half. It's supposed to be an hour and a half at 2:45 minutes.
If you had to do it today, how long would you be on stage for? That's a stupid question.
Well, no, because I'm still developing at the moment. Okay. So
you're going to be match fit and battle ready.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing all the shows now. That's why we're telling people now, because we're telling people because you have to set up way in advance. This is the weird thing. I actually like just rolling on up and saying, "Hey, let's do a show in 10 minutes. Let's tell us, pop-in shows, pop-up theatre kind of thing." I love that. you know, the idea that you do a show. We're going to do one tomorrow. Well, the quickest one I ever did, we advertised it when I was running around the UK. We advertised it at 12 noon and we performed it at 8 p.m.
And how much will it change from day one to day zero?
I will distill it until we video it, till we film it. And once we filmed it, then I might start wandering around and stuff, but I might keep certain things. But there's certain two-way discussions I set up that always change.
They do, don't they?
They just always change, and they're designed to change. I keep them fluid, because I found that's when comedy starts to die, when you lock it in aspic, if that's the word, or in concrete, and you just, like a prayer, Our Father who art in heaven. If you take the Christian prayer, Our Father who art in heaven, people don't listen to the words, so they just say it. And I think that happens with other things. It can happen with poetry, it can happen with whatever. And with comedy, if you just keep repeating it over and over again.
Will it include animals?
Yep.
Will it include people called Steve?
Yep, and Jeff.
Will it include some of the old favourites, twisted slightly?
I don't know.
I don't
know what's your favourite.
Well, you know, like your Death Star Canteen routine. That starts off originally, and then years later.
No, well, I did the Death Star reprise of the Death Star Canteen too.
Because people love some of your old stuff.
Yeah, I think the last one I had, because Death Star Canteen was Darth Vader ordering penne alla arrabbiata, and then in the second version, the sequel to Death Star Canteen, God came down and ordered spaghetti carbonara, and then Darth Vader said, no, that's mine, and then they fought. I try and link it all up. I've got quite a big mental map.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like if you live in London, you live in London at certain times, and or anyone lives in a big city, they might live there, then they might live there, and you know you end up knowing the geography of there, then you know the geography of there. London's the way I moved around it over some decades, and gradually, you know, you can link it all up, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to link up a whole. This is why I've got a theory of the entire universe, because I'm trying to link things together to make it explain it. I've worked it out, and it means it's up to us. What I've worked out is it's up to us. It's up to the goodwill of men and women across the world to make this world better, and we can make it worse.
Because one of the things I've always liked about his comedy is when you come out the show, I think you come out with feeling joyous. I think. Mm-hmm. As well as laughing. And
Nazis
stuff.
Wouldn't. Surely Nazis would come out and say,
damn! That's because they never went to
my whole Nazi
gigs.
ethos has dribbled away. I'm such a Nazi. Hopefully that would work for the. So the positive to the progressive people, because there are the regressives. Yeah. The regressives think, let's go backwards in time. Let's go back to the olden days where there was slavery and we could hit people, you know. And so those people tend not to come to my shows. Yeah.
Do you think if they did actually come to your show, they would change their mind?
I don't think so. I worry. Well, this is an interesting political thing. Here, kids is an interesting political thing. Can we change people's minds with putting forward common sense and logic, or some people are just locked in to racist thinking, hateful thinking, wrong thinking, illogical thinking, voting against themselves and their own interests.
Unless you make them laugh.
Sorry? Well, I don't know. And also comedy, you tend to think that comedy is a positive thing, but then I'm sure that, you know, all the bad people seem to go, ha ha ha. Yeah, but they now I have. No, but and they said I have a good show. There must be someone entertaining them. Now entertain all the bastards in the world. Ha ha ha. He's very funny with his hateful comedy. And
were you excited about going back?
Oh, well, I'm excited we're going back everywhere, aren't I?
Everywhere, obviously.
But not these places. I don't want to go to these places. Australia, New Zealand, as I've said before, that's kind of like a home gig, going to Australia and New Zealand, because there's a lot of the stuff that they, you know, we're cousins, we link back. It's, so I like playing in Australia and New Zealand, and everywhere has its different taste, but that one has an odd and unusual connection. Canada, I was a Canadian kid when I was 9.
Sorry, you were a Canadian kid?
Yeah, for 2 months. Dad went out to work there, and one of his school friends had emigrated out there, the Christmas family, so we stayed with the Christmas family for 2 months and became Canadian kids in 1971, for the summer of 71. Summer of 71. It was a time. All through America, going to be touring, United Kingdom, up and down, into Ireland, Eastern Europe, Scandinavia, 45 countries last time, 4 languages. So it should be 4 languages again eventually, but definitely in 2019, Eastern Europe, UK, Ireland, United States, and Australia and New Zealand. So,
what about the people who've never seen you? Never seen you work?
Well, they should.
Why would they come see one of your shows? Apart from that gun
If
point.
people like, if they like surreal and positive and weird and clever but stupid comedy, that's what I do. If they don't, they really shouldn't come. Well, you might see some stuff on television, which is just this crud, which is there's some really good stuff, and there's some stuff which is, and now this old bunkum. But I'm not doing bunkum, ladies and gentlemen. Mine is, or if I do bunkum, it's clever bunkum, and it's bunkum spelt with 2 C's. The Dutch version of bunkum.
Are you excited about it?
I am excited, actually. I always like touring, and this is a new tour. And the fact it's called Wunderbar. The last tour had a French title, Force Majeure, and this one's called Wunderbar, which means wonderful. And I like that it's got a German title at the time of all this Brexit, Trump hate, negativity going on. And it's just a very positive title, and it's in German, which we used to think in a negative way, we go back to the 30s and 40s, but now we think in a positive, even though they have their own, you know, there's the far right groups in every country which are trying to spin this world down a plug hole, and we, the forces of positivity, are trying to push forward good and positivity. Yeah, I keep it molten. I had this idea of molten material.
Okay.
When people come up with new bits of material, if you're ever doing comedy, you might come up with a new thing, and at its inception, it's quite molten like this, and then people sort of say, okay, I'm going to do that, but then I'll go into that bit, and it becomes more locked down, and then it locks. And I've seen people get it so locked that they've lost all the joy out of it. Yeah. So I thought, well, if it's molten at the beginning, just keep it permanently molten. Just keep adjusting it so that it's always live. And that seems to work. It means you can lose the track of it. Sometimes you can have a really good comedic spin on something, and then you actually lose it, which is a slight downside. I'd like to say, if you'd like to come and see the show, do. If you don't like to come and see the show, don't.
Do.
And if you're thinking maybe you'd like to come and see the show, then definitely do. And if you want to come and see the show twice, that's very encouraged. 9 times,
I mean, have you got any really good physical stuff coming up in the new tour?
Yeah, there's a bit like I do this in the new tour. There's a bit where I go like that. There's a bunny rabbit fight in it, and then there's a dog fight, and then there's
Shadow puppets. That's what we're doing.
No, I talk about William the Conqueror's mother, who was a hairdresser. Yeah. And I said, and hairdressing existed because scissors were invented by mime artists in the in the Egyptian times, not Elizabethan. But hair drying was tricky. Hair. You just had to breathe on hair. How many? My classics was human sacrifice. Who came up with that? Yeah. Who back in the day said, the weather is bad, the crops have failed, the gods obviously hate us, so we're going to kill Steve. Yeah. And so if you did that in French, you know, le temps fait terrible, les récoltes sont merdiques, the crops are failed, les dieux ils nous haïssent, that's quite difficult, the gods hate us, il faut tuer Steve, we've got to kill Steve. You know, and they laugh at exactly the same point.
Do they laugh when you say Steve? Because Steve's a very English name, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I call Steve Claude in French.
Okay, but
so I had Steve in English, Steve Claude in French, and Steve Jürgen in German. Okay, so I do these double. I just add, I Germanize it.